think the audio's good. We're ready to start, at least. I may turn the desktop sound, the game sound down. Doesn't need to be overpowering my voice, huh? Well, we're doing basically my first Anna run of the game. Well, continuing it. Okay, see you around, Doink. If I'm still alive, feel free to come back. Have fun with your family. Okay, well, time to go do voices, I guess. I did put the tag voice acting after all. Okay, I'd gotta remember what voice I gave Sebastian. It's a hard choice, really. Younger dragon. So, okay. Or I could just read them all in my normal voice. How about that? Then I wouldn't have to think as much. Wait a minute. When we were down there, didn't you refer to him as a she? Did I? I don't know. Maybe you just heard it wrong. Maybe. Why would he wear that whole getup though? Some sort of camouflage? Good point. This whole thing doesn't make any sense. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Your earlier theory about what happened is pretty sound, Sebastian. Let's go with that and add the bit about the generator being stolen. So now the question is, who has a motive for stealing generators? Riza. Right, who else would steal a generator when those who live here could either buy or simply request one? Not to mention, Riza was the one who arranged the diplomatic trade for the generators in the first place. I can't deny the fact that your generators are pretty important to us, but resorting to murder? Well, we all saw the human figure running away. Why would he have stayed here if he stole it? Why would he remain here if he was the one who stole it? The generator was already gone when we got there, and the person in question wasn't carrying it either. Perhaps this is a case where the criminal has returned to the crime scene. For this kind of crime, I'd say no, but who knows, maybe our rules just don't apply anymore. What do you mean? No offense, but ever since you two humans arrived, there have been a lot of strange things going on. This place used to be a quiet town. Maybe this whole thing is just a huge misunderstanding. Maybe this is all a huge misunderstanding and he just needs someone to talk to him. Let's put this into perspective. We've found 2 corpses so far. Riza is the prime suspect, and you think all he needs is someone to talk to him? Sorry, well, I'll be going with a no on that one. Maybe we should just focus on finding him and point fingers later. Agreed. The police team will be here any minute now. You don't have to get involved with the search, but that doesn't mean you can't help us. What do you want me to do? We still have the list of places we were going to check out, remember? We can't go now, the search takes priority. Of course, we'll still check out those places after we're done here, but if you go on your own, you can speed up the process. You could even find a lead for us, who knows? Sure thing. Great. Here's the list. Considering your status, you shouldn't have any trouble in these places, but if anything happens, call me and I'll check up on you later. Wait a minute, you mean I'm going all by myself? All of us are going to be busy with the search, and we can't really afford to spare someone right now. You'll be fine. Aren't you worried I'll do something fishy? I mean, isn't that why Riza and I were assigned police escorts in the first place? That policy was mostly Maverick's fault, and he's out of the picture with me. Hey, Zelifer. With my authority as chief, I say you can go alone. I already know where you're going, and besides, I trust you. And if you were in cahoots with Riza, you would have ran off with him when you had the chance. Good point. I see the team approaching. Guess you should get going now. Alright, I'll see you later then. Good luck. How are you, Zelifer? Haven't talked to you much recently. It was a relief to leave the crime scene, considering all that had happened. When I reached into my pocket to take a look at the list, however, I found something unexpected. It was a small piece of paper with the word Tatsu written on it. How did it get there? My earlier encounter with the masked person was the only time someone was close enough to smuggle something into my pocket. I figured if someone like Bryce tried to do something like that, I definitely would notice. As for Tatsu, the only related thing I could think of was Tatsu Park, which I had come across when I went to the police station the other day. It's good so far. This is my third run through to get an ending. I'm doing Anna, which is one of the characters you can, I guess I'd say romance with. So, probably going to be repeating a lot of stuff from my previous runs, but I'm not skipping anything because I really haven't streamed this game. So, for anybody new, I'm not skipping anything. Even if that park was the place the mysterious paper referred to, I didn't know if it was actually a good idea to visit. The masked person may have saved me from the falling light fixture. But if it was Riza, it would mean following someone who was also the prime suspect of 2 murders. I also had to consider the list of places Riza has been to. A local grocery store, the production facility we had visited, and the library were the 3 places closest to here. I think I may stream all the way to the end of the run if nothing goes wrong with it. I mean, I could always go back and text, but in the streaming side of things, it's nothing goes wrong. And if we do get through the entire run, it's going to be a while, of course, but I may do another run after that. So it certainly was going to be a busy day, and I knew I wouldn't have the time to visit all of them. Let's see. This is why 4 questions takes me a bit. I mean, Tatsu Park has some important stuff in it, and I think I can get a achievement there. So, Tatsu Park, here I am. I don't know what I'm looking for, though. Well, I already do. There's nothing in this area, of course. This park is bigger than I thought. I could go north towards Tatsu Avenue, which is apparently a nice spot to look at the landscape, or south to the political district. Where should I go? Well, I know where I'm going, so north towards Tatsu Avenue. And this hatch it does have secrets. Oh, and the metal covering of the hatch. There are 2 buttons which are situated to the left and right of a central circular lever. The arrow on the lever is pointing up. Well, I know I have to push these buttons. Kind of obvious with puzzles, you gotta push the buttons. Then I believe I gotta turn it counterclockwise, and it should open. I looked down to see the maintenance tunnels for the underground drain system, a pale object steadily contrasted against the pitch black backdrop. What do you mean by rooms? It's a cloth with suspicious red markings all over it. I guess that's all to be found down here. I mean, it's always nice to have somebody in chat to chat to, so I'm not complaining with you being here. I guess I'll rest on the bench and possibly get the achievement I'm looking for. Finally, a place to sit down. The view of the scenery is perfect. Got the achievement. You can't see it in the stream, but I got it. You appreciated the landscape for a bit. How relaxing. That was nice. I was just about to get up when I noticed someone sitting next to me. Let's not talk about that here, Zellifer. This is a public place and we have, I believe, 4 viewers watching us right now, so it's not the time or place to talk about that. Whoa, I didn't see you there. I thought you were a statue or something. Hello? Well, maybe it is a statue, or I just turned invisible. I hope it's not the latter. Oh yeah, I got an achievement. I'm not complaining. Now I think I'm gonna go to the production facility, since I don't think I'll find anything else here. Since, well, I'm doing an Anna run and she's probably gonna be there, so. Riza was allegedly here at some point. Maybe I should ask Anna. Knock, 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 knock. Hello? Intense. Intense knocking. Anybody there? It is I, you man. Can I help you? I was just looking for Anna. This is her lab, right? Yes, Doink, there is going to be a video on Twitch after the stream, and then I'm going to do some editing and put it up on the YouTube eventually. So, you can look forward to it on both. Why don't I ever get any recognition? This is my lab as much as it is hers. Either way, Anna is not here. Would that be all? Since you work here, maybe you can help me instead. Oh, I accidentally scroll-wheeled. It's okay, Doink. Well, I don't know why I bothered responding if he can't even hear, so... But if he can... I mean, why don't you turn me up? I'm sure your family wouldn't mind. Well, then again, you are at church, so... Since you work here, maybe you can help me instead. Oh, of course. Your precious Anna isn't here, so you'll have to settle with me. I see how it is. That's not what I meant. Why did I kind of turn into a Russian there? Of course. Let's just get this over with. You could start by telling me who you are. Here's the short version. My name is Damian. I work in this facility, and I'm unfortunate enough to live the nightmare of having to deal with Anna on a daily basis. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. I have seen the blue lizard before, but in my own off-stream runs. So... And you are? You don't know who I am? Of course I know who you are, but your assumption validated the point I was going to make. You see, this whole thing about you coming here has been blown out of proportion. Like it's some huge event that everybody should be celebrating. Newsflash, no, everybody cares. Once both of you are gone, life will return to normal and we can all go back to what we actually should be doing. I imagine a lot of it has to do with those human myths you have. I can only reiterate, not everyone cares. What exactly do you want again? Oh dear. Bits are a way that you can donate to me through Twitch. You can get them for free by watching ads. I don't remember how much is 100 of them. So, well, $1 worth. So that's basically what they are. They're a way for you to donate to me. They're in the Get Bits menu. I can't show you because, well, I don't have the option to bit myself. I mean, you could also donate through Streamlabs as well, which, I don't think there is a link in the description for the stream for that, though. I'll have to set that up next time. I guess I should stay on topic and say, has Riza been here recently? Do you know anything about Riza's visits to this facility? I've seen him a few times. He would come by to ask about the progress of the generators. It's fine, Zellifer. Not everybody has time to stop by. There was this one time when Anna told him she'd have news, but when he came over, she just wanted to run some tests on him. Did he go through with it? No, he wanted some compensation, I suppose. Nothing she could offer satisfies him, however, and that was that. Thanks, Zellifer. Although, it is a bit difficult coming up with proper voices for you, but it's easy when they're so when they have so much expression. How long have you known Anna? Why do you care about that? Maybe I want to find out what kind of person she is. You might have an idea. I'll put it this way. I've known her for far too long. What kind of research is Anna doing? Cancer research? She thinks she can cure it, but she's out of her mind. Is that such a bad thing? The way she does it, yes. She's wasting resources that could be better spent on projects with an actual chance of success. Man, I guess I really am that good at doing voices. Well, male voices, that is. Yeah, I'm terrible at female voices. What kind of research are you doing? Right, now, guess who got tasked with running all those tests on your blood? You did? That's right. While she goes out and does whatever the heck she wants, I get to keep an eye on the experiment. And any interesting results? Not just yet, but soon we'll know more about your body than you do. That would be all. Thanks for your help. Yeah. Woohoo! Another achievement! You interrogated Damien. Fun times. What does? The afternoon sun has hung low in the sky, and I decided it was time to report my findings to the police. Brief call to the department, and I was on my way to an appointment with Sebastian. What, just how I said it all in that voice and everything? It looks like you've seen this before. Skip to the character selection? Of course not, system. No, don't skip ahead. As you wish, ... I'm not sure how my findings will help, but at least I have something. Look who we have here. I turned around to see Maverick. His intense gaze confirmed that was no one else his words could have been directed at. Even with the civilians passing by in the background, I suddenly felt very alone. What do you want from me? Answers. Okay, then start talking. Just tell me one thing. Why? What is your goal in all of this? Why even come here? You know why. We came as ambassadors for humanity. 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 Hey, the tag for voice acting says for entertainment, right? And to oversee the trade we agreed on. No, that won't do. That's simply not true. You know it, and I know it. I just don't get why you can't be honest with me, even when you're... No one else is listening. You know I can't touch you. If I did, it would be over for me. At least as long as I don't have any proof. In the end, what difference does it make if I know? No one is going to believe me anyway. Do you wish to kill me too? Like Riza? I would never do such a thing. Is that so? Tell me, why would an ambassador need such a dangerous tool in the first place? I know you claimed not to have one of these things Riza injured me with, and you don't have any when they searched you. But I guess it's way too late for safety precautions at this point. You could have hidden one anywhere. That damn hurt, you know. But even worse than that was getting thrown aside by Bryce. I trust him, but after what happened, he doesn't trust me anymore. Now, there's only you, the mythical, the special, the new. How much I wish I could make him see what I see. I could have saved the world with what I did that day, and it still wouldn't matter when nobody believes me. Just because I don't have any proof. But I won't stop until I find some. And when I do, I'm gonna be a damn hero. Ooh, spooky. Riza's the other human here in the world with me. He's currently a fugitive on the run and the prime suspect for several murders. Hello, Zillifer. I'm talking right into your ear. And with that, he was gone. On the way to the police station, Maverick's words kept finding their way back into my mind. I couldn't decide how to feel about them. I wasn't even sure if it was worth mentioning to the police since all he did was make vague accusations. It wasn't anything substantial enough to be considered a threat. However, his actions were growing more calculated, and he seemed very sure of himself. I wondered about what this could amount to. But that wasn't the problem at hand. It's okay, Zelifer. Hey, Agent Blue. Hey, Sebastian. I thought I'd meet you at the front desk. What are we doing in Bryce's office? I still want to give him like a more unique voice, Sebastian. He does have a nice office, doesn't he? And the chairs are comfy. Is that the only reason we're in here? The dragon gave a brief chuckle. Let's just say that any information pertaining to this case is important enough to warrant some privacy. I see. Will Bryce be here anytime soon? I don't think so. He's still outside looking for Riza. He's not the kind of person who gives up easily. That sounds like him. That's Bryce for you. Once he sets his mind on something, he sees it through to the end. That's why he's our chief. He gets things done. At this rate, it doesn't look like we'll find him today. He could be anywhere, long gone beyond our reach. What do you think? I don't know, Zelfer. I've never heard you try to do any other voices. I think Bryce should get like a soldier voice, like, I teleported bread! To be honest, I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere. I literally just repeated the same thing. I just said it. He can't flee to another place. No matter where he goes, he'd be recognized immediately. In the end, his only way out is the same way he got in. The portal. And he can't use that without somebody noticing. Very astute observation. Yes, I do, Zelfer. I wonder what will happen to our trade agreement now, considering Riza's still missing the murders and the stolen generator. If Riza really is a murderer, then... Don't do that. What? Worry. You don't know what's at stake here. People are dead, Agent Blue. Do you think I don't know that? Riza may be our prime suspect, but he's also a missing person. For all we know, he could be a victim. Maybe someone is making him do this. My point is, we don't know the facts yet. What we need to do is find him, and find the murderer. We'll find Riza, and go from there. We'll figure it out. Thanks, Sebastian. Anyway, you said you had some information for us, so what did you find? I don't know, Zelfer. You'll have to ask the developers about that. The bandage you found is something, alright, of course. It could be anyone's, but why would someone discard theirs in a place like that? It seems suspicious to me, and is certainly worth checking out. I'll make sure it gets to the right place. I'm not sure if there's anything special about Anna wanting Riza's blood. I mean, she's a scientist, so it's natural that she'd be interested in something like that. We'll have to talk to her about it, though. Maybe she has some more details for us. Well done, Agent Blue. That gives us some solid points from which we can continue our investigation. In any case, thanks for your help. We really do appreciate it. You're welcome. That should be all then. Since Bryce still hasn't come back, I assume the search is still going on, and I better get it out there and help him. Guess it's going to be a long day. Can you find your way back to your apartment? Of course. Alright, I'll see you later. Good luck. Finally, some free time. Whatever am I going to do? Oh no, that wouldn't be good, Zelfer. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think you're even following my channel. Feel free to do so. Looks like there are some messages on the answering machine. Let's see. Oh, goody. A female to do. Hey, I just wanted to update you. I still don't have an open spot in my facility for you. Test. But I'll be free if you want to cash in your reward. Thanks for following, Zelfer. I'm surprised I didn't get scared by the notification sound. Also, I don't know if I have the thing set up for this. Ooh. I don't know if the alert box is working. Anna is the dragon that I'm mainly focusing on for this run. She's a scientist, and both of our characters have a background in biology. You know I'm busy, so this is your chance for your date, if you even still want to go through with it. Take it or leave it. I completely changed the voice. You know I'm busy, so this is your chance for your date. If you could even still want to go through with it, take it or leave it. I don't care much either way. In any case, you know where to find me. I guess the choice is mine. Oh, Lorraine, this one's gonna be fun. Hello? I had some time to work through the stuff you told me, and now would be the perfect time to get some pictures of you. If you're not busy with anything else, it would be great if you could come over sometime. See you soon, maybe? Woohoo, you had 2 messages waiting for you. I wonder why. Because I'm popular. Anything. I'm gonna pause for a bit. We'll be right back. I've been drinking a lot of water. And apparently I've got something that was building up in my throat. So we'll be right back. Enjoy the music. We'll be back soon. Okay, back. I forgot to shut the door. Okay, officially back this time. Let's continue. Well, obviously I'm gonna meet with Anna since that's the dragon I'm focusing on right now. And just on time. Now where is she? Hello? What's this? Looks like a message. Something came up at the last second. Wait for me. It shouldn't be too long. Anna. I guess at the last second is meant in a literal sense here. Or else she could have just called me. Guess we're playing the waiting game then. Okay, it's been like an hour and my patience is slowly but surely running out. I'm gonna wait. I've already waited this long, so guess I can wait a little longer. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the world record holder for most patient person is, but now I feel like a contender there. Still no sign of her though. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know what to choose. Should I wait or go into her lab? Because I'm not going home. I have a feeling... I guess I can wait a little more. Well, if she doesn't show up soon, I'm done. Oh! There we go! There you are. Where have you been all this time? Reading comprehension must not be a strong suit, because my note clearly said I'd be back soon. Note to self, the word soon now refers to a time span of over 2 hours when waiting for a scheduled appointment. Has it really been that long? It certainly didn't feel like it. Alright, sorry for making you wait. Losing track of time happens to the best of us. It happens to me all the time. I guess we missed our movie. Can't we see the late screening or something? Oh, dear. That was the late screening. The theater's closed now. Maybe we should reschedule? That won't work, at least for me. Today was the only day I could leave early. I won't have another chance anytime soon. So what do we do now? Maybe the coffee place is still open. I don't know. I guess that's better than nothing. Oh no, we're in a back alley. Closed as well? That's just peachy. Why do you keep working so late anyway? Because what I'm doing is important. You're doing cancer research, right? And who told you that? Damien. I stopped by your lab some time ago, but you weren't there. That sharp-born bastard. What else did he tell you about me? Not much. The whole thing wasn't really about you anyway. I see. Sounds like you two don't get along that well. That's the understatement of the century. Being trapped in a small room with the likes of him for hours on end every day is a scenario born of a sick mind with the intention of making me suffer as much as possible. It certainly doesn't make my research any easier. The stress probably doesn't help you either, and it's not worth jeopardizing your health over. Don't overwork yourself. You can't save anyone if you're dead. What happened, Zellifer? Did you get a new computer or something? If I don't find a cure, no one else will. No one else can. Besides, I was only late today because I got your stupid blood work ready. You have the test results? Yeah, want to know what I have to say about them? Definitely. Okay, how much do you know about genetics? A little bit, I guess. Don't worry, I'll put it into words that are easy for your feeble mind to understand. To start off, I found that on average about 90% of your genes are homologous to us species genes. That may seem like a lot, but to put it in perspective, about 50% of your DNA is also shared with fruit. With fruit. Ooh. Oh, thanks for following. To further elaborate, you and your human neighbor back home are probably around 99.9% genetically similar. If you compared the various sentient species we have here to each other, they would only be around 95 to 97% similar. As for what exactly all of this tells us, although a match of 90% sounds like a lot, it's not as much as you might think. Still, for two beings from a different world altogether, that's quite remarkable. Beyond DNA, the biggest similarity between us is within the brain structure. Not that... That's not surprising considering our high-level cognitive abilities. That'll surprise Maverick. What do you mean? He doesn't seem to like humans very much. I'm sure he'll be displeased to know how similar we are. Oh. He doesn't like anyone, really. He's just like me in that way. Yeah, you two would make a great couple. You're a little late for that. I'm already his ex-girlfriend. Really? How did that go? Not how you might think. It actually went pretty well for a while at least. But in the end, we both got too absorbed in our jobs until we realized we had drifted apart too much. And agreed it would be much easier if we just broke up. I still respect him for the work he does. I mean, we even used to solve crime together. I'd be in the lab running tests and he'd be out on the field chasing after the pups. Those were good times. I guess nowadays he just chases after me. What? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but if you know him, maybe you can help me out. I certainly can't help you if you don't tell me what's going on. Okay, but this is just between us, alright? Sure, whatever. Maverick is convinced that I'm the compliance of a crime. He made a point to tell me that he's searching for proof to legally arrest me or worse. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Really? It's nothing. He can't find any proof that doesn't exist. Still, it doesn't feel nice to be threatened and stalked, especially by someone like him. That's just him. He gets way too into it once he sets his sights on something. I noticed. It's his job. What do you expect? I wish he'd just leave me alone. He wasn't always like this, you know. A couple of years ago, he was assigned to this one case. He was still relatively new on the force, young and eager to help. Then, reality came crashing down on him. There was a serial killer who shook up the whole town. That the victims were apparently eaten. We later found out that the killer's actions were the result of a degenerative disease, which brought his feral nature to the foreground. At that point, he was just a wild animal, turned into a cannibal that hunted under the shadow of night. Everyone in town was up in arms, terrified that they'd be next. The police did everything they could. A curfew was instated and patrols guarded the streets at night. And then they found him, munching on his 5th victim. Poor little Maverick was not prepared for what he would find. Oh yes, soldier voice time. Stand back, Maverick. I'll handle this. Miles? It was his brother. Ow. I will not keep you safe, Zelliver. Back away from the body, Miles. Miles couldn't comprehend their words, and only saw rivals who wanted to take away his prey. And he wasn't about to just let go of it without a fight. Miles raised his head from his kill, blood dripping from his maw. The officer's breast was smothered by the deathly stillness of the night. Fangs bared, the feral dragon snarled. It stood strong in front of his meal, prepared to protect it from the two who intruded upon his territory. Whoever this is... Not the right voice. Whoever this is, Miles. Wait, whatever this is, Miles, it's over. Don't make it worse now. Oof. In an instant, Miles was upon Bryce. They clashed in a fury of teeth and claws. Miles had the advantage with his small frame and quick movements, and Bryce could not get a clear hit in. What do you mean? I do this voice all the time. It all happened so fast that Maverick didn't know what to do. They rolled on the ground and Bryce ended up on his back. As helpless as a turtle, Miles pinned him and clamped his jaws on his neck. Hey, Doink's back! Guess who's back? Back again. It is Doinkenfeb. Bryce's claws were the only thing preventing Miles from biting down. They were slick with blood and quivering with fatigue as he tried to push him off. For a brief moment, Bryce thought he'd meet his end when the jaws suddenly relaxed and he was able to dislodge them. When he looked up, he saw that Maverick has managed to get Miles from behind and bit through his brother's neck from above. Soviet monster! Blood flowed down Maverick's jaws and over Miles' lifeless body. Bryce had not been saved, but the younger dragon wore a wide-eyed, empty stare. Maverick blamed himself for not taking better care of his brother. He knew Miles had problems and was taking medication for it, but he wished he could have done more to help him. The medication wasn't the right one, by the way. Maverick takes solace in the fact that he was able to save Bryce, but he's never been the same since that incident. Now he scrutinizes everyone and everything. I'm not sure how that's supposed to help me. It doesn't. But now you know why he's how he is. It's not unusual for him to act like this, so you might just have to wait it out. Anyway, let's get back to your test results since you were so interested. Did you want a copy of them? Yeah, I'd appreciate that. No problem. I'd heard you also wanted Riza's blood. Of course. I invited him over too, but that was before you arrived here. And I thought what we had was special. Life-jacketed boyo. Oh, it is. Riza was just too stuck off to agree to anything. He wouldn't even participate in an exhilarating round of trivia board games. Not even that, can you believe it? I can almost see the sarcasm dripping from your mouth. Still, it's kind of a shame. It would have been interesting to compare your blood to his. I can't read whatever that is. I'm guessing it's Russian. What a shame indeed. Let's just enjoy our romantic date in the back alley of a coffee shop. Of course, unless you want to take this someplace else. Oh, she's blushing. What? You don't like hanging around dirty back alleys? Huh. Difficult question. Actually, I do. Now that's the spirit. I'm getting kind of hungry. I figured we'd be having a meal on our quote-unquote date. What? Can't you go a few hours without having to stuff your face? I could offer you a handful of dirt if that's if that's to your taste, Agent Blue. Huh. I'll pass. I'm afraid that's all we have on the menu. Unless, well, I know one place that never closes. Let's go there. Sure. Is it the bar? I had a drinking game with a dragon there. After several minutes of walking, Anna led me to the outskirts of town. We arrived at a farmhouse. On one side, fields stretched towards the horizon, and on the other were lush, green hills with fenced populations of animals. What kind of restaurant is this supposed to be? Self-serve. Oh. Oh dear, I don't know which one's a good one. This is completely blind to me right now. Nope, I'm not seeing this. Oh, it's okay, Zellifer. There's nothing PG-13 or 18 plus about this game. Just R-rated stuff. You're a bad girl, Anna. I know. How well can you hunt? Me? Even if I knew how, it's not like I have any equipment here. Equipment? What a sissy. You've got hands and teeth. What more do you need? A long-range weapon, maybe? Like fire? I suppose even you could make use of that. Alright, since I'm apparently the only one capable of acquiring food, I'll be right back. Anna walked over to a fenced enclosure of animals that reminded me of sheep. She crouched and squeezed herself through the bars, after which I lost sight of her. Waiting game 2.0 start. It took only a couple of minutes for her to return, dragging one of the animals behind her with now bloody jaws and hands. Well, I started this run off stream, so you've not really missed much. Dinner's ready. What kind of animal is this? It's called a mouflon. It sounds like something that would be in Lord of the Rings. Anyways, do you have a pot you'd prefer? Be quiet, boy. See how nice I am? I'm even letting you choose first. I'd like a rump of a dragon, I guess. I hate myself now. Anything will do. Okay. Using one of her claws, she skinned the dead mouflon and divided it into various pieces. Do you want yours grilled or raw? Grilled, unless prepared properly, raw meat carries a significant risk of disease for us. How inept can your species even be? You can't hunt on your own, and you need tools and help at every step. You don't even have claws to cut things up. I mean, I'm glad you stopped by to the stream. Even if you have to go later in it, I'm glad you stopped by and chatted with us. I'm not even sure how you could even ever survive in the wild. Seriously, what god did you piss off to end up like this? Okay, that's fine. You can always continue watching it after the fact when the video goes live on Twitch. No, you're only allowed to have a slice of this animal, Zelifa. And it's gotta be raw. I know what option Doink would make, but I'm gonna go with evolution. I guess after millions of years of evolution, nature decided that we didn't need those abilities anymore. Instead, we got very articulated hands and arms, and upright stance that lets us do many other things. And I turned to like a Soviet. Like what? Who builds everything in your society? Who's responsible for the delicate tasks like assembling electronics, manufacturing, or cooking and bartending? That's mostly us, the runners. We've got proper hands after all. Now compare your arms to mine. Ours are much longer and have way more mobility. Especially our fingers. They have an incredible amount of articulation. The difference between you and me is about as big as the difference between you and other of your species. Just imagine what we could do with our advantages. Oh, you think you can school me? Sure I can. Don't get cocky. We've overcome the limitation of individual species with our technology. Actually, we have technology back home that is far superior to yours. I'd love to see it, though we've already gathered plenty of information on your tech from the databases contained in the PDA. What will you do when we catch up? If you get there, we'll see. She opened her maw wide before a liquid shot from both corners of her mouth and onto the ground below the parts of the mouthfulon she had prepared. After a few seconds, the liquid burst into flame, heating up our dinner. That's a neat trick. I bet you wish you could do that, huh? Sulliver's a shit. A Sith. Murder him. That'd be wicked cool. Right? It comes in handy. How does that work anyway? Do you ever burn your mouth? Not at all. There's actually two different components. They only catch fire when a significant quantity of both is present. Interesting. Yes, I'm having food with a bloody dragon. Literally bloody dragon. I wish I could get some of these artworks. The flames weakened and grew smaller until they went out, revealing steamy, appetizing pieces of meat. Help yourself. I grabbed a piece but dropped it as soon as I felt the heat on my fingertips. Ouch, that's still hot. Can't take a little heat, huh? That's too bad. Unaffected by its temperature, she took a piece into her hand, tore a chunk out of it with her teeth, and started chewing. I've checked the game files, Zoink. It's harder than you think to get access to stuff like this. I guess your scales are a good insulator. Evidently so. How does it taste? Just wonderful. Sterling goods always taste best. I can already picture the old farmer reduced to tears after he discovers one of his precious mouflons is gone. You're a wild one, Anna. Thanks. I could teach you a thing or two. I think it should be cool enough for your sensitive little fingers now. Carefully, I grabbed one of the pieces, which by now had indeed cooled down enough to not burn me anymore, and took a bite. Yeah, and I don't have that program going. It was a little bland, I had to admit, but not bad for something that was alive less than an hour ago, prepared in the wild. How do you like your mouflon à la laine? Oh, okay. Well, in one of the previous endings, my character shot one of the dragons, but I didn't have a choice in that. I feel like a wild animal. Quite different from sitting in an expensive restaurant and using their fancy cutlery napkins, isn't it? Yeah, I like it. How often do you just go out and hunt on your own? Only when necessary, or when I feel like it. I still go to fancy restaurants because I can afford it, but they don't mean much to me. For me, it's all about the experience, and one isn't necessarily better than the other. I can see your point. This was unusual, but fun. I can see your point. This certainly isn't how I thought the evening would go, but it was pretty fun. Anyway, I'm stuffed. Me too. There's still plenty left over. What are we going to do with it all? We can leave it here. Hey, maybe the old farmer will help himself to it. How nice of us to leave some for him. Yeah, you should pay me for cooking him such a nice meal. We should probably leave before that Scaly wakes up from his evening nap. Yeah, let's go. Well, that was interesting. Wait a minute, I've got something for you. Here you go, your test results. Black on white. Thanks, but did you really need to spend all that extra time getting this done today? I just wanted to get it over with when I had the chance. Maybe you should start thinking about not working so late on a regular basis. It might do you some good, Anna. Oops, wrong button. What are you talking about, Asian Zillifer? Yeah, don't get well. Why do you think so? I'm just saying, if it usually gets as bad as it did today, that's not a good sign. I just didn't pay attention to the time. But I guess that's because I barely go out anyway, and I don't even think about watching the clock. Okay, point taken. So what are you going to do? I'll think about it. You know, now that this date is officially over, if I don't work overtime every single day, I could fit you in for your end of the deal. Of course. You didn't forget about that. I'll let you know the details, or just call me if I forget. Sure. Nothing going on today. I guess I can do whatever. Of course, I gotta go with the Lorem, because he's the other person I'm doing this stuff with. Actually, now that I think about it, I've never seen the status go up good. Be quiet, Doink. Here, these are the achievements I got so far. Quite a bit. Rim. The dragon with the star? Are you talking about Bryce? Yeah, that's Bryce, if that's the one you're talking about. There you are. Come in. Sure. Honestly, I can't believe you agreed to do this again. You blush, boy. It's my pleasure. Now that I've had a chance to work through everything from last time, we can do some real work. Sounds great. I did a staggering amount of research on mythical humans here. Let me show you some of the stuff I found. Sure. We sat down at the coffee table. Lorem opened up a laptop and started to type away. Seeing the laptop brought back memories in our world they had become obsolete a long time ago. Before I show you these pictures, I should probably tell you that some of them are really weird. Just don't take them the wrong way. You already told me about the four-headed human, so I think I can handle this. Alright. Look, it's human! He looks friendly. This one is supposed to be one of our ancestors. Ancestors? Well, it does remind me of some of the dragons I've seen here, but I'm not sure what humans have to do with this. You remember the myth about a creator turning into a dragon, right? Yeah? Now here's an interesting question. What species did that human turn into? There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Did the human choose one of them? Did they perhaps procreate? A shared ancestor is one option. That would mean that the different species split after humans' involvement in our creation. If human DNA was involved in some way, this might explain how our different species came to be. Take a far ancestor of ours and apply various amounts of human DNA. The result would be a number of different species, each with different amount of resemblance to humans. Okay, Doink. Okay. Now, it is said that an upright stance and being able to walk on two legs is a more human trait. Most humans walk on two legs, so that's true. In any case, it's one of the things that makes humans unique. As a result, some people believe that certain species share more traits with humans than others. Them more noble or something. Luckily, this doesn't happen often. You can walk on two legs as well, right? Sure, in this theory of shared human DNA, this puts me somewhere in the middle since I still have wings and horns. I can see that. Here, look at this one. Look, it's human. Some good water. I want want to live in the same town as this fellow. Well, you can't always choose your neighbors, and this won't be any different in my game. I'm not sure he's a particularly friendly one, though. Actually, I think this is supposed to be a human female. Interesting. There are some that don't think humans are friendly at all, though. Really? So far, I've only heard positive things about them. Some interpretations of our myths don't exactly paint you in the best light. There are also people who oppose the idea of human worship and what their involvement has meant for us. In what way? They say the human interference was unnatural and that we need to get back to our roots. And how do they think they can do that? Apparently it means refusing to use modern technology and living in caves or the wilderness again, like an animal. Pretty much, most of us think those people are crazy though. Nah. Silver, no hug. I see. They're harmless, really. You probably won't see one of them around here anyway. This is an interesting style, though. Do you know how these pictures were made? No, I'm sure that information was provided when I looked them up in the library, but I didn't copy all of that. And you're using these as references? I make do with what I can get. Maybe now you can see why I wanted your help, though. Alright. What do you need me to do? I just want to make some quick sketches. You could stand over there by the wood. Okay, I can certainly do that. I walked up to the spot indicated. When I took my place, I saw that he had laid out a number of pens, pencils, and other art supplies on the table. Oh, this is going to take a while, isn't it? I'll try to be quick about it. Do you want me to strike a pose or something? T-pose! A T-pose should be good to get started. What's that? Just point your arm sideways so you look like a giant T. I mean, that's a pretty accurate description of what a T-pose is. If they have their arms sort of like they do in Gmod, the models, that's considered an A pose. Oh, I get it. Raising my arms to the sides, I wondered how long this would take. Great, now try to stay as still as possible. No! Damn it, T-pose! I'll try. As I wasn't allowed to move my head, I stared at Lerem, sketching my figure. This went on for a few minutes until I suddenly heard the sound of a door opening. Oh yes, I have this picture. I ran into this guy in my last playthrough. Well, run, as I consider him. Hey, Lerem. Alright, the human was going to visit. Alright, the human was going to visit today. I totally forgot about that. You don't mind if I take a seat, right? You just want to study Agent Blue. Like you aren't doing that right now? Besides, this room is mine as much as it is yours. I'll just watch and be quiet. I thought you had experiments to run. And research to be done on the people that are still alive? And they are running. I'd rather not be confined to my tiny room for the next 2 hours, staring at the ceiling and waiting for them to finish. But no experiments on Agent Blue. Yes, I'll just sit here and maybe take a few notes. I'm sorry, Agent Blue. This is my roommate and longtime best friend. I gotta figure out how to pronounce that name. Ipsum? That will do for now, I guess, until somebody corrects me. Nice to meet you, Ipsum. His scientific bluntness may be off-putting, so please bear with him.
Speak for yourself.
So much for those two being best friends. The Rim returned to his drawing, the silence only being interrupted by the strokes of his pen.
Something interesting happened at work today.
Did they finally figure out it was you who was playing all those pranks?
No, they'll never catch me. I was talking with a colleague about the humans here, and I offhandedly mentioned that Agent Blue was going to come over.
I don't like where this is going.
Some hours later, Anna barges into my office and says Agent Blue is off limits to anyone besides her, as far as tests and experiments are concerned.
Well, I'm not taking any samples. I could hardly be blamed for just looking at Agent Blue.
Yes, but that makes me wonder. Agent Blue, did you agree to visit her and undergo her rigorous testing regimen?
I did.
Oh, good luck to you then.
I love this voice.
Oh, and Laren, have you seen my Isoman sphere recently?
Didn't you take it with you when you went to the park the other day?
Yes, I did.
Well, that's the last time I saw it.
I must have lost it. Then I already searched the whole apartment.
Did you go into my room? ...
No.
Maybe someone found it.
I had it registered in my name when I got it, so if anyone found it, it should show up sooner or later.
What is an Isoman sphere anyway? It's just, oh god. Uh-huh. Okay, that's interesting to know. So, that means his name's just a placeholder name, so does that mean it's gonna be changed in the future? It's just a glorified tool for grown-ups, really.
You have no idea what you're talking about. An Isoman sphere is a very sophisticated tool with a countless number of uses.
Like what?
It can levitate and whirl you around, take photos, and you can even use it as a calculator.
Making it a glorified tool for grown-ups.
I use it for my experiments.
Well, if they can take photos, I wouldn't need to stand around like this. That is, if we had it here now.
It is a great companion for all situations in life.
It's much easier to draw from a live model than from a photo, though. Easier for you, maybe. I hope this doesn't take much longer because my arms went numb a while ago. Yeah, I think you can relax for now. I'm nearly done with this one. Does that mean I have... A tingling sensation went up my arms as I relaxed. Slowly I began to regain feelings in them. Alright, now turn around. I thought we were done already. Not unless we want our humans to lack a backside!
So, that's what this is all about.
You know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
Isn't it my turn to draw you now? That's not how it works.
No! wouldn't mind me getting a portrait of myself. I can already see it, light shining from above, caressing my luscious mane, highlighting each lock as they interplay. This is going to be a long day. That depends on how fast you are.
As I was now facing the wall, I couldn't see what Lorem or Ipsum were doing. After a few seconds of silence, I heard some whispering coming from the couch. Quiet. What are you talking about?
I didn't want to be rude, but I was just curious about your vestments.
Oh god. He said, and I quote, "This would be more interesting if it wasn't for those clothes Agent Blue is wearing." Really?
I'm just saying it would be hard to study an insect if there was a piece of cloth draped over it. Wearing that much just seems odd to me.
If humans wear clothes like this, it's only appropriate to depict them as such.
And my scientific curiosity shall remain unsatisfied.
Because Agent Blue is not here to do that, and you would get in big trouble with Anna. We actually have a pretty big variety of vestments, I can tell you about it.
That sounds good, but
Not right now, I have to finish this up first. Alright. So, Ipsum, I've heard a lot about experiments and science now, but what do you actually do?
I work in the facility as a biologist, with a minor in physics. In addition to the office, I also have my own setup here at home. I assure you, it's properly isolated from the rest of our apartment. It even has a fume hood to prevent accidents. But I only use it for the smallest experiments, usually things unrelated to my job.
Sounds interesting. Don't get him started, or we won't hear the end of it.
Maybe you would like to talk about your hobby instead, Lorem.
Isn't this already a hobby? I guess you could say so.
I was talking about his other hobby, though.
I'm doing okay signs with my hands every time I talk as Impswim. Oh, that. I don't know, it's a little embarrassing to be honest. There's no need to be embarrassed about your hobbies.
He likes flowers. Once he even made a crown out of daisies. Cutest thing in the world.
Don't listen to him. As usual, he only tells half the story. What's the other half then? I nearly did the... I have an extensive love for botania. Or botany, I think that's what that said.
The fern he keeps in his room must be the happiest plant alive.
I find gardening to be very relaxing, especially when the birds are singing in the morning. It's so nice to go out there with a nice cup of tea and work in the garden of our apartment building. Which reminds me, Ipsum here has a quite extensive tea collection, although I'm not sure if he prefers to hold tea or gadgets. It's a mystery. I want to take a picture of that text and send it into Tyrion's Discord server, so I'm gonna do that real quick. So don't mind that noise you heard.
I heard there was going to be a model of the exosphere that can actually make tea. That's going to be a must-buy.
Can it also make cups, or are you supposed to spit it out of the sphere itself? Don't be silly. You two sound like an odd couple. Couple? Us?
Not really.
We've known each other for a long time, though, if that counts.
I think it does. By the way, Ipsum, you're not from here, right? What is that supposed to mean?
Well, you look nothing like any other dragon I've seen so far. I suppose that's true for Lemurim as well. You're both pretty small. But Ipsum also has hair. That's certainly new. It's not as unusual as you might think, but you're right. There aren't many of us in these parts. I imagine being smaller than the rest of the population would come with its own challenges. It's not that big of a deal. If something is unreachable for me, I can fly.
This apartment is actually intended to house one dragon of a bigger size. That not only makes it fairly cheap, but it also big enough for both of us.
That's one thing I've been wondering. How do you even sit in one of those chairs? Wouldn't the backrest cause problems with your tails? I see what you mean. For me, it's never been a problem because most chairs are bigger than I am.
It's just a question of getting into the right position. However, this might be different from those of us who mostly walk on full legs, but they usually don't use chairs like these at all.
I've seen a few try them.
I suppose they want to imitate humans this way. Even if they can't stand or walk like a human, they can try to sit like one.
With varying results, some I've seen look really funny trying to fit in chairs they are too big for, or sitting in odd ways that clearly don't work with their anatomy. I see. Lauren, you asked me about breath weapons last time, but I don't think you ever told me if you had one.
Probably because it isn't worth mentioning.
It may only be a very small flame, but it can get very hot. What about you, Ipsum? Yes, Ipsum. What about you?
My breath weapon is electrocution, since words are more powerful than anything else.
I don't know if I said that wrong. Sure. Alright, I'm done with this one. You can turn around. Really? Staring at the wall was so much fun. Let's make one more. Maybe something dramatic. How dramatic are we talking about? Something that isn't static like the reference models I just did. Can you strike a pose? Something that's just you? Alright. What kind of pose should I go for? Well, I guess I can answer that when I get back. I gotta go, you know. So, BRB. what? Did they say dynamic or say dramatic? You confuse me sometimes. I have no idea what kind of pose I should do. I guess a thoughtful one. Alright, what about this? Works for me.
By the way, did you get the groceries when you came home from work?
Yes, just as usual. Are you two sure you're not in a relationship?
I certainly am.
Oh, I forgot to. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to switch it. My bad. I can go back and redo all the lines so you can see them. I totally forgot I had this chocolate on my desk. Now it's all probably melted. Yeah. Okay, so I did a thoughtful pose. Alright, what about this? Works for me.
By the way, did you get the groceries when you came home from work?
Yes, just as usual. Are you too sure you're not in a relationship?
I certainly am.
Actually, Ipsum is deeply in love with his home laboratory. Oh, really?
I'm not even going to deny that. When I'm not working on something at the office, I do so here.
What are you currently working on?
I've been looking into the physics of teleportation.
You're talking about the portal, right?
Well, I don't have permission to even approach the portal, so I have to resort to a theoretical discussion on its mechanics and what to do with what I can pull off in my own home laboratory.
Maybe I could tell you a few things.
That won't be necessary. I have already read all the available test reports.
Okay.
Are you aware that using the portal could be incredibly dangerous?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Then you don't have a complete understanding of what the portal actually does and what it means for our world at large. In order for a portal to function, a natural wormhole is required. It is trapped and becomes the portal's entry. The portal manipulates the wormhole's exit. This way, something can be sent to whichever destination is chosen. Now, there is a theory about the purpose of the natural wormholes in the universe. It states that they act as the support pillars of the space-time continuum.
How so?
How should I explain this?
I think the video game analogy worked pretty well.
Sure, in a video game, what happens when you meet the edge of a map?
You hit a wall.
That
Happens in some games, but not in others. You reappear on the opposite side.
Right. How does this happen? If our world was a perfect sphere, someone could just keep flying in the same direction, and eventually they would end up at their starting point again.
It's okay, Doink. I can turn up my mic if you want, but it's very close to approaching the yellow point when I talk, though. Sure.
This is just a result of physics and the abstract of a video game. However, it doesn't work like that. They don't try to replicate a spherical world, but use a 2D plane instead.
This is getting confusing.
Imagine a piece of paper with a world map printed on it, right? While it shows the entirety of the world, it's just a simple, flat piece of paper rather than a sphere, right?
Sure.
Let's assume that in a game our world looks like that. Now, what happens when you approach the edge and walk over it is that we are teleported to the opposite side.
Okay.
This doesn't actually make the game world a sphere, but rather a torus.
A torus? You know, like a donut. My characters, I know pretty much everything they're talking about, but my character doesn't.
If that's the comparison you want to make.
Okay.
Now, things are going to get really complicated. Are you familiar with Mini-World's interpretation of quantum mechanics?
Let's say I'm not.
It states that every single time a choice is made by an actor that possesses free will, the universe splits off into different branches. This means that for every choice you have made, there exists a branch of that universe where you made a different decision.
I see.
Now, we can't communicate with these other branches in any way. You don't know what would happen if you made a different decision just this morning. You could make an educated guess. The only person who truly knows what happened is that alternate you, who has made that decision and is living its consequences.
I'm turning into a soldier slowly.
That is unless we can communicate with the other branches. However, there is a barrier that prevents us from doing that. This barrier is made up of wormholes.
How does that work?
It is very similar to the Taurus world model that is used in games. As we approach the edge of our world, the barrier causes us to end up on the other side instead.
Does this mean we're getting teleported to the other side like in a video games?
Not necessarily. It would just as correct to assume that our universe is shaped like a torus.
So which is it then? Do we get teleported or not?
That depends on how you look at the wormhole's function. Imagine the sheet of paper is the entirety of our world.
He took a sheet of paper from Lorem's stack and showed it to me, marking a spot near the edge with a pen.
And this is where you live. Unfortunately, your workplace is here on the other side.
He drew a X close to the right edge of the paper.
If the world was flat, that would be very unfortunate. However, if the world was a torus, the left and right edges would be connected. You could take the shorter route to work by going over the edge. Now, let's say that this is only possible because wormholes connect these two edges together. If you happen to be right at the very edge and look beyond, everything would look perfectly fine to you. Given that these wormholes stay in their place, you would never know that the world is actually flat, and that you can only travel to the other side because the wormholes connect the edges. You would think that the world is a torus.
Right.
However, what if the wormholes don't actually bring you to the other side but teleporting you? But instead you bend the paper into a torus shape and hold the edges together. If these wormholes failed or were displaced, the paper would unfold, throwing the world into disarray. That's what the wormholes in the barrier actually do. That are what hold everything together.
So they're really more like glue.
If it wasn't for them, the overall construct would collapse in on itself.
What construct?
The entirety of space and time. Now, if these theories are true, that would mean using a portal damages the barrier each time the portal is activated. The wormhole used for the teleportation is displaced, leaving a small gap where it used to be. Do this too often and the overall system will destabilize eventually.
Alright, maybe you shouldn't talk about your theories about how the world is going to end.
Nothing is going to happen because the portal was used a few times. I just hope humanity is aware of its implications.
Maybe we can collaborate.
I certainly hope so.
Your researchers seem to know what they are doing.
I just wish I could be part of it. With everything that's going on, the future looks incredibly exciting.
What do you think is going to happen, Ipsum? Now you'll get him started. Don't say I didn't warn you. Oh god, I better take a big drink of water. Okay.
The knowledge contained within your PDAs could propel innovation forward by unforeseen lengths.
Meaning a lot more experiments for you to do. Drinky boy.
Which would be terribly exciting.
Personally, I'm more interested in the social implications. What do you mean? I don't expect there to just be a back and forth of ambassadors forever. Are you talking about colonies? Oh, I bet
Lorem would jump at the opportunity to live in the human world.
I'm not sure if that would be a good idea.
Why not?
Obviously, such an endeavor would need a lot of preparation. We would need to learn about their culture and adjust appropriately. I'd expect we'd send an ambassador over there long before that will happen, though. We hardly know anything about their world. Everything's still up in the air as far as diplomatic relations go. We have no idea what the situation could be like in just a few weeks. Yes, and it's also incredibly exciting.
Don't get too excited though, or else you're going to ruin your drawing.
It's almost done anyway. Here, what do you think? Lorem leaned over, holding up the paper to Ipsum. Well, Lorem can. He has wings. I'm not sure about Ipsum. Ipsum looked at the paper closely, his gaze shifting back and forth between me and the paper several times. After a few seconds, he seemed to be finished with his evaluation.
As a scientist, my professional opinion is that this part looks a little long.
He points to the sharp claw at the part of the paper Lorem was holding. Are you sure? Let me see it.
If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have said it.
I think you're right.
That I am.
I'm ready to stop doing this voice. Lorem reached for his eraser, purging a few lines from the paper before he switched to his pen again. And it's done.
See, what would you ever do without me?
Oh, shut up, toy. Family-friendly stream, man. I don't think I'd hear as many explosions in the middle of the night. What? Explosions in the middle of the night?
You were happy about it when you forgot to set your alarm that one time.
Suddenly, the sound of an alarm sounded through the room.
Oh, my experiment is done. Finally.
And there he goes. Charming fellow, isn't he? Yeah. He certainly keeps things interesting around here, and he's a good art critic. I can imagine. Anyways, looks like we're done here. Phew, it feels good being able to move again. I can't thank you enough for doing this. You should stop. It's getting really annoying. I had no choice. My character just said that on his own. Oh, I guess you don't want to stay for dinner then. Haven't I already given you enough of my time already? Just forget it, okay? I should be going now. Anyway, it's getting late. Sure, bye. I mean, family friendly, I said as this game is R-rated. Hey, chapter 3.
Yes, music time.
The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home, enclosed with a towering perimeter wall, raced through my mind. A peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance of these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue skies were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope. Ding dong! Agent Blue, please come with me. I forgot what voice I gave for Sebastian. What's going on? You sound serious. The chief will explain everything once we arrive. Okay. Oh no, please don't tell me Anna's dead. Hey Chief, Agent Blue is here. Thanks,
Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I talk to Agent Blue, alright?
Of course. Oh, fuck. Agent Blue, I've got some really bad news. Well, one voice. Well, what is it?
You know Anna, right?
I've met her, yes.
How about her assistant?
I met him once or twice.
Well, that's him.
Yay! Anna's alive. I'm fine with this boyo dying.
Oh, man.
Damn it.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Let's just get this over with. Bryce nodded.
And here's more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence we found on the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's going to be a big problem for you.
Why is that?
Because with 3 murders, Riza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the missionary in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do.
I'm not sure what to say to that. I'm done doing that voice for Bryce. My throat already hurts enough from doing Ipsum's voice. Be quiet. I don't know. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while and think it might be best if you went back to your world for now. This way, we can take actions before the ministry does. Be quiet, Toy. And before this all becomes public, if we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. No.
No.
No. This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators, and let's not forget that Riza is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I'll have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal, or what they'll do to Riza. But I'm not leaving until this is over. Be quiet. Like, where's Zellifer? I'd rather see him chat. If that's your decision, then so be it. System. It looks like you've seen this before. Skip the scene selection. No. No. Yeah. Actually, I think it's, I was about to say, I think it's only you in chat right now. What? Are you getting excited because they're going to be sending me home, Zellifer? Man, that's rude. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Agent Blue. And in addition to the murderers, Several things were stolen, among them your PDA's batteries, and some components used to build generators. Be quiet. Who knows? Maybe at the end of this run, I'll shoot somebody. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Riza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts. Strange. Because he doesn't like me, Zelver, obviously. Even so, it's fair to assume Riza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick. I'm eating chocolate. I made a mistake of eating chocolate. It was very melty. Unless somebody wanted to frame Riza in order to sabotage this whole operation. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying that it's possible. I'll shove that idea under possible, but unlikely. Hey Chief, are we done here? Pretty much. Why do you ask? We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Agent Blue are to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately. Immediately, as in right now? Yeah, apparently. Then we're not compatible doing sorry. What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. Maybe they're going to throw a surprise party for us. Yeah, probably not. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting. Sure thing, Chief. Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice. That chocolate was good, though. Oh dear, another female voice. Is it gonna come out? Oh dear. I have a feeling if I try to do a female voice, it's gonna come out like Anna again. Yeah, right, Doink. That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer. Greetings, Minister. Greetings. Shall we go inside for our official business? No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here unless you have any objections. I don't. I don't believe you guys. I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Riza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long. Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. I can say that word, just not well. Jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found, and these 3 murders now being linked together, and to him did your ministry have to become involved. I see, so Riza's involvement is now undeniable. I'm afraid so, Minister. Facts are nothing to be afraid of, though. In light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety. With our thick hides, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon. Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection? Oh, for sure. If you are worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you. Good. Considering all the murders take place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. Be quiet, Doink, or I'll punch you next time I see you. But that's enough about me. We now face the question of what should be done about Riza and Agent Blue. Minister, we continue our search for Riza every day. As a matter of fact, Agent Blue has been helping us do so for a while. Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective. Interesting. And how do we know Agent Blue isn't following a similar plan to Riza, whatever that may be? Similar concerns. We were leveled by Riza's escort Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Riza to run away in the first place. Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Agent Blue, enlighten me. You and Riza came here on the same mission, and the situation escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I will take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Riza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived. I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. Arguably, the problems that caused all of this were apparent even then. How so? Maverick suspected Riza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case. Well, did he? No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Riza, he found both him and Agent Blue at the portal. The humans intended to send one of their promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Agent Blue wounded, and Riza running away. Riza's been missing ever since. I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it? I have no way of knowing that, Minister. You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then. Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter. Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place? Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard. Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Riza's escort. Is that true? Yes. I paid more attention to the warning signs. This situation may have been avoided. So you expect responsibility for the incident? Yes, Minister. I see. Now, let us get back to the topic of Agent Blue. Riza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities and not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs you people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no choice but to be suspicious of Riza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us? I mean, it's true, Bryce wouldn't let me say no. It is my best bet at finding the truth. I thought Riza's involvement was undeniable at this point. That may be true, but we still don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved, or his reasons. I just want to know why. I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation, and hearing both your accounts, I believe that Agent Blue is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Agent Blue presents a great risk. Why is that? After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know the danger posed by Riza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Agent Blue, you might be in real danger yourself. Riza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be best if you returned to your own world until the situation has been resolved. I came to the very same conclusion, Minister. I started with the wrong voice, and also Zellifer's now in Wallpaper Engine. Man, he's not watching anymore, I guess. Then, with your support, this is what shall be done. Please, don't. You don't agree? If you send me back now, the diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There is no way I can return without your generators, RPDAs, or Riza. Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Riza was. But I was his partner, so in a way, he is my responsibility. I can't just go back like this. I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh a reason for sending you home. Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything. Zellifer, get out of Wallpaper Engine and watch the stream. God, it's getting to the point in the day where it's starting to get hot and I don't like it. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours. Even computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment was greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people, but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most precarious time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for scrutinous and repetitive tasks. Education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet, one day, everything changed. A solar flare that was heading for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all others ever recorded in history. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that, as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reoriented in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effects that would hit us. Despite
humanity's contingency plan for such an event, and all our efforts were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our rate had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. The eyewitness reports from that day were varied, as they were terrifying. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke, as though day had already arrived. A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the skies arrived, sparks showered from electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, and other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as a result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, society as we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past.
Zelfer, you're not allowed, sorry. No. Bad. No leaving. I don't want to be left here with only Doink.
Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way, it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, anger at the gods they had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society. Not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown. And the ensuing power vacuum was filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronics left became rare and sought after artifacts, over which battles and even wars were fought. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old, bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I'd call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-suspicion city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. If the only way we could retain a modicum of order, gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside, they wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they knew about my PDA. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise. And still have our own automated hospital
that runs on salvage generators. Lately, though, those supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading through the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. Well, that was long. You already know the result of this story. You already know the rest of this story. We found the portal and you, and now you know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hope lies in acquiring the generators you promised. The act of sending Riza and me here, without a doubt, already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of our world is unknown. When Riza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that this was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of tens of thousands that live in our city. It was a backstory, Doink. What did you think? I'm sorry, Agent Blue. I didn't know. If what you are telling me is true, it's unfortunately doesn't work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Riza a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him. I'm not. What Riza is doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances because I'm your best bet at finding him. Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Riza's involvement in the murders. I can't and will not take responsibilities for the consequences when I know the risk. What about our deal then? In the wake of this new information, and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed to the portal once this is over, under two conditions. Humanity must condemn Riza's action, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs. Of course you did, Doink. I've changed my mind. You should let Agent Blue stay here. I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Agent Blue sent back to the human world through the portal. Please, immediately. Of course you do, Doink. So many thoughts. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Agent Blue to the portal now. I could do it myself, Minister. Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief. I would rather get that over with as quickly as possible. In that case, one of my officers should be here any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here. How handy. Then let us wait for this officer of yours. It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After this situation was explained, he was vividly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task of sending me back through the portal. Let's go, Agent Blue. Don't I even get to say goodbye? Let us not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side. Just go, Agent Blue. Come on, then. We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopefulness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. Don't you know, Doink? This is how the bad endings go. All in all, I certainly had a unique experience alongside these dragons. And although this place was filled with just as much drama and meta as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I met. I would fondly think back to the days I spent in their comfortable standard of living, a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least, I'd be returning home with a new life lesson. Oh dear, another field. What's going on here? Lost in thought, I hadn't even noticed Adine approach. It's none of your concern. Please leave. Can't I even get a few minutes before I go? I suppose nobody's stopping us, but make it quick. The human on official business, huh? I don't even know you right now, do I? Don't you remember me? I met you in the cafe and at that crime scene. That's all, isn't it? Unless I missed something, yes. What are you doing here? I was just practicing my flying when I spotted you down here. And who would say no to an opportunity to meet one of the humans? Not me. Well, I'm afraid this will be both our first and last opportunity to talk. I'm about to leave this world again. Is that so? That's too bad. Kind of a shame I never got to know you. Wait, does this have something to do with these rumors I heard? Is Riza really a murderer? I'm afraid so. What does that make you? I don't have anything to do with that. I was helping the police to find him. Then why are you leaving? It's for my own safety, apparently. This wasn't my decision. Really? But what about Riza? All I could offer was a shrug. I guess they're convinced that they can find him on their own. I see. I'm not sure what to think anymore. I'm not sure either. I looked over my shoulder and glanced at Sebastian. I should be going now. Alright. Goodbye, Agent Blue. Goodbye, Adine. I remember her. That was the witness from Riza's first murder. Did you know her? A little. I see. What's wrong, Doink? You sad that I'm getting a bad ending or something? A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in defiance of the elements. How many years had the structure survived before it was found? I hope I can remember how this thing works. Are you joking? Yeah, sorry, I got it. It's big sad. Alright, I suppose it's time for us to say goodbye. Let's keep it professional. I don't like to mix personal matters with work. He looked away and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn it on then. Would you stand between the pillars, please? Of course. I took my place and stared toward the horizon while I thought about what would happen now in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it, I'd become a fugitive, no better than Riza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself, while on the run in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start, disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wonder if there was any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked after all. Maybe I would be flung somewhere else in time and space, and it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes in my body since I arrived in the dragon's world, but I had no way of knowing if there was potential long-term side effects. I still remember the images I saw when I teleported the first time, the vivid sights and patterns, people and situations I have recognized since then. It took only a moment to arrive at the other side of the portal, yet it felt like I had dreamed 1,000 dreams. And during the nights I spent here, these dreams had often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience again. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over, things had turned out far different than I expected. I evaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible, intelligent beings from several different species. It had certainly been a time to remember. With that thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come any second now. But that moment never came. The next thing that did happen was that I heard Sebastian's voice. It's not working. Are you joking again? No, really, it's not working. Wait, what is this? It's broken. Can you fix it? I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looks like some parts were torn out. I guess that means I'm not leaving, huh? Not yet, at least. What's wrong, Doink? Well, what do we do now? Let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away. We were back at the ministry before long. Imra and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them. Here are the case files, Imra. Why, thank you. Agent Blue and an officer? What is this about, Imra? That is what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal is broken. It's broken? Yeah, it looks like someone tampered with it and stole parts. I couldn't even get the interface to turn on. We'll check it out once I'm done here. I suppose Agent Blue will have to stay with us for a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Riza, you are now temporarily removed from any duties related to the humans. Given these dangerous times, you will instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal, but after that, you are to immediately return to me and start your new task. Understood? Understood. Then, all of you are dismissed. She turned to leave Remy, trailing after her. No, you, Doink. Alright, let's head to the portal that includes you, Agent Blue. Of course. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. Hey, what's this? Imra probably dropped one of the case files. Either her or her assistant. You better bring that to her. Sebastian and I should hurry to the portal. Meet us there afterwards, okay? Be quiet, Doink. Family-friendly stream while playing an R-rated game. Sure. I picked up the sheet and started reading. It was about what happened when I met Riza at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about the place was that Imra worked there. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Imra's office. It didn't take long to find it, and I heard voices when I approached the door. By the way, what happened to the scroll you brought me this morning? Last time I saw it, it did not have that tear. I dropped it. Tell me something new for once. Okay, someone else dropped it. Am I supposed to believe that, Remy? Are you aware of how much this costs? Repairing and replacing artifacts is not cheap. I am afraid we'll have to deduct this from your wage again. I see. You are not doing this on purpose, are you? Of course not. You have been working for me for a long time now. I expect you to learn at some point, but you are very resistant to do so. Not wanting to listen any longer, I decided to knock. Knock, knock, knock. There are a few seconds of silence. Please come in. I only opened the door long enough to hand Remy the sheet of paper. I think you dropped this outside. After I closed the door and started working, walking away, I heard the voices resume. This is from one of the case files you requested. I must have dropped it. Then why was it left outside as my assistant? You should have paid more attention. If this got into the wrong hands, someone could get in trouble. I made my way back to the portal and arrived shortly after Bryce and Sebastian. Well, I can confirm that it's not turning on. I told you that already. Just wanted to make sure. You really think it would still work with a chunk ripped out of it? Hey, I'm not an engineer. We don't know how the portal works. It was worth another try. There you are, Agent Blue. What do you make of this? I'm afraid I don't know any more than you do. I'm not an engineer either. In that case, we should start thinking about the who and when. There are patrols assigned to the portal and surrounding areas day and night. If someone tampered with the portal, they must have seen something. Today's day patrol didn't notice anything unusual, though. I guess she just missed the part about the portal being vandalized. It'd be easy to overlook. It's a small part of the machine, and it's not like she was expected to check every square inch of it, each lap around the area. What about the night patrol, then? When I went over the reports this morning, I noticed the night patrol hadn't handed theirs in yet. And who was patrolling last night? Let me think for a minute. The schedule always goes in a certain order, so last night's would have been... ... Damn. What is it? The night patrol for last night would have been Maverick. I got wrapped up in all of the recent chaos and forgot to find a replacement for him when he went on sick leave. Hey Grant, we're doing my first Anna run of the game. So, I believe we're nearing the end of chapter 3 now. I don't know how much longer I'll go for. I may not do chapter 4 today at least. Doing all this voice acting has really hurt my throat. Maybe Mara was right to take me off the case. So there was no night guard here at all. That's right, whoever it was had an easy time doing whatever they wanted. Could it have been Maverick? I did a run yesterday, but I've barely played the game. It's for all the new people that are gonna join and watch the stream. I'm not skipping anything. If he knew no one was going to be here, he could have used that knowledge to his advantage. He couldn't have known that I'd forget to find a replacement, though. I don't usually slip up like this. What about Riza? Why would he have done it? He'd be cutting off his only way out. No, he'd be doing something smart. If he has the parts needed to get the portal working again, he is in control of who gets to use it. He's cutting off our ability to communicate with mankind. We wouldn't be able to inform them of Riza's actions. Maybe we shouldn't have kept the investigation secret for this long. If your theory is true, that would be proof that Riza's actions are his own, not humanity's. Hey, I already trust you on that. Or it's a stunt to grant humanity possible deniability. No way, things are too dire for the humans to take such an extraordinary risk, especially for that. I'm sure that wouldn't be the only reason they benefit, though. There must be something we're not aware of. Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong angle. If no one was here to guard the portal, anyone could have broken it. It doesn't necessarily have to give anything to do with Riza and Maverick, but they still have the greatest motives. Sure, but they definitely aren't the only ones to have one. There could be private groups who are interested in the technology or its significance as a human artifact. So, that puts us exactly nowhere. At least as far as speculation is concerned, it's about time for forensics to show up. Anyway, let's hope they can pull some clues from all of this. Sebastian, can you take it from here? You've been such a dedicated to the case as I have. Since I'll have to be at the minister's side for a while, I'd like you to take charge of the investigation for now. Thanks, Chief. I won't let you down. What's up with that anyway? Being appointed as Imra's bodyguard as a punishment just seems strange to me. Are you kidding? I could have lost my job. This is a way better outcome, honestly. She probably did it for her own sake more than anything else, but I'm not complaining. If that's all, I'm going to head back to the ministry. I shouldn't keep her waiting. So, what does this make you now? Temporary chief? I think you only see 3 in this game, but in the comic series there's more. More like case leader. By the way, you won't need to stick around while forensics does their job. Thanks for your help. I assume you can find your way back to your apartment. Yeah, of course. Alright, I'll see you later then. See you. I considered spending my free time roaming the town, but decided that it would be best to keep myself out of the spotlight. After cooking myself a rudimentary meal, I considered picking up another book when the doorbell rang. I don't know the other police's names right now, like. Hey, Agent Blue. Hey, Sebastian, do you need my help again? We're just a small town police department, and with Bryce removed from the case, our resources are thinner than ever. I understand. So what do you have for me? First up is the primary witness in the latest murder, the victim's colleague Anna. She was the one who found his body. A few other things have changed since this morning, as we've gotten some additional information from forensics that warrants further questioning. She can be found in the production facility. You seemed interested in that underground building found near the portal. I realized you might actually be able to help us with that, since it's suspected to be of human origin. Your opinion would be greatly appreciated. I guess I should add archaeologist to my resume. Maybe human matters consultant would be more appropriate. Do you really think it's okay for me to tamper with your priceless discoveries? Oh, you wouldn't actually be going there in person. I just want you to take a look at the collected information in the archives and give us your opinion. Besides, no one is allowed to visit at the moment. The building is old and unstable. There is a danger of it collapsing or flooding. Obviously, we don't want either of those to happen. Flooding? Yes, the whole building is underground, and we've determined that there is a rather large pocket of water surrounding it. Any kind of disturbance could endanger everything and everyone inside. I see. We also located another witness for the last murder. A store clerk reported seeing and hearing something, so it's probably worth it to ask him a few questions. Got it. Here are all the details. Visit me at the department once you're done. Sure thing. It was interesting that still relied on me for their investigations, even after they tried to send me back to my world. I didn't expect them to allow me to help with police matters after everything that had happened. Now that the possibility of sending me back was eliminated, the advantages having me on their side apparently outweighed the risks. Though, I had to wonder who would have to be more careful now on. should I do?
Well, I'm gonna be right back.
It shouldn't take too long, but I need a bottle of water. Well, welcome to the stream, that Fox. We're gonna be continuing now. Well, obviously I'm gonna go check on Anna, of course, because that's who this run's based around. When Loram spotted me, he opened his muzzle as if he was going to say something. After a moment of hesitation, he walked past me in silence. This should be the right place. Oh, it's you! I'm a little busy right now, so I'm not sure if I should take any visitors at the moment. I have a few questions about the murder of your colleague. Is that so? Why do you get to go around asking questions like that? Is it a matter of human interest? Actually, yes. You could say no, so. Interesting. What's in it for me? Hey, I already agreed to your test. I'm not sure what else I could offer you. Besides, I'm working with the police, so your cooperation will be greatly appreciated. Oh, you're working for our police? Now? You really have my attention. I want to see where you're going with this, so by all means, go ahead. What happened the last time you saw him alive? I saw him yesterday evening. There were some tests I needed to run overnight, so instead of staying late to set them up, I had Damien do it. That's what colleagues are for, right? Can you tell what happened when you found him? I might have left early yesterday, but I made it up for it by coming in early today, before anyone else. That's why I was the one to find him. I was on my way to my office when I saw him lying in the middle of the hallway in a puddle of his own blood. What was your relationship to him? We were colleagues, nothing more. I heard that you don't particularly like him. Yeah, but that's not unusual. I don't like most people. He really didn't like me, though. Why's that? He was jealous of my success and it showed. You seem very calm for someone whose colleague was just murdered. People die every day. It's a simple fact of life. Besides, I don't see you crying about him either. I don't know him that well, so it's not like someone I actually cared about died. world stops spinning for no one. Life goes on, and for me, that means being without an assistant for a while. That would be all. Thank you, Anna. My pleasure. Time to head back. Well, I needed to get the achievement for interrogating Anna anyway. Before deciding my next move, I returned to my apartment for a moment of rest. A small piece of paper had been slipped under my door while I was gone. "Don't go to the portal" was all it said. I considered the possibility of a hidden message, but that was unlikely. The statement was blunt and quickly scrawled. Someone clearly didn't want me to go to the portal. But why would I go there in the first place, as it was out of order right now and such an action would serve no purpose. I looked outside the window at the portal's faint silhouette in the distance. Paper rustled between my fingers as I fidgeted with it, wondering about the message sender and significance. My train of thought was violently interrupted by a sharp burst of gunfire echoing from the portal. I had to think fast. The gunshots ensured Riza's involvement. He was at the portal. The question was why. If this was his attempt to flee back to the human world, he would receive a rather unpleasant surprise the moment he would try to use the portal. Or maybe Sebastian's theory was correct. When Riza held the part, he needed to repair the portal, in which case his escape could be imminent. The gunshots themselves were another question. Was somebody trying to stop him? The police patrol may have seen him, and he may have been taken by surprise. This could be another murder in progress. But all of his murders were committed with a sharp weapon before now, not a gun. He didn't want to be heard. Besides, it was only early evening. The town was still bustling. If Riza wanted to stay hidden, he was doing a rather poor job of it. Of course, there was also the possibility that he wanted to be heard, but who would he want to attract? The police, Maverick. It could easily be a trap for those hunting him, and that technically included me, though I wasn't sure if he knew of my involvement in the investigation. It was also a very quick possibility that he knew my apartment was close enough to the portal to hear a gunshot. Could it be a signal for me? Regardless, the words I held in my hand were unmistakable. Don't go to the portal. What should I do? I know Doink would probably know what to do in this situation. But I'm gonna stay inside and call the police. Ultimately, I trusted the mysterious message. Remy's list of phone numbers. Given to me when he brought me to this apartment in the first place, proved to be a valuable tool. I dialed the emergency line and was greeted by a calm voice asking me about my emergency. The gravity of the situation was understood, and I was advised to stay inside until further notice. A team was dispatched to deal with the situation while I waited from my window. I tried to catch a glimpse of what was going on at the portal, but I couldn't see much. The darkness of night was fast approaching. About an hour later, I was informed the team had searched the perimeter, no trace of Riza was found. I was given the go-ahead to continue with my investigation, but I was free to stay where I was if I felt unsafe. I've played it 2 times all the way through. But right now, I'm basically going blind for the Anna run. Yep, first time doing Anna's storyline. I've done Bryce hasn't got the good ending, and I've done Adine and got the bad ending. It's fine. Feel free to chat. Just don't spoil anything. I mean, the police archives, but the store is close to that one's related to the production facility. It's a harder decision. I'll go to the archives. I was on my way to the police station when a voice called out to me. Hey you! I'm talking to you, Hillman. I'm not gonna help him this time because I've already got the thing for that. Can I help you? Certainly hope so. I'm in a little conundrum here. My cart seems to be stuck. I can see that. I'm not even gonna bother pronouncing his name. By the way, local ice cream vendor. Agent Blue, you've probably heard of me by now. Of course, of course. In any case, do you think you could spare time to help me out? It might take a while, though, so I hope you're not in a rush. Actually, I'm kind of busy right now. That can't be helped then. Sorry. Don't worry about it. There will be someone else along soon, I'm sure. When I arrived at the station, I was met by the police archivist, a dragoness who introduced herself as Kalith. I don't know if this is a female or not. It looks like a female. You're in luck, Agent Blue. Bryce compiled all the case files a while ago. Ever since you came to our world, he seems to be a lot more interested in these human mysteries. I wonder if it has something to do with you. Anyway, you can find all the files here. I'll leave the rest to you. Well, study the blueprint of the underground building. Of course, it's the first thing. The blueprint of the building caught my attention. Apparently, it had been found during their that word legit escapes my brain. Investigation within the building itself. At first glance, nothing about it stood out to me, but the more I studied it, the more facts revealed themselves. Both of its entrances were freed and accessible by the people in charge. One was through a tunnel in the vicinity of the portal, and the other through a dig that cut through the town's sewer system. Bryce had scrawled a note near the second entry. It simply said access via a hatch. Button, counterclockwise. Furthermore, the data in the corner of the blueprint listed the structure as Independent Living and Research Unit, dated to the year 2047. Most interesting, I recognized the name of the company that was listed. They were a well-established super company before our world had collapsed, known for their advances in scientific fields and otherwise through the use of legal loopholes and gray markets. They were very successful at what they did. Their facilities subverted laws and ethical issues by being in areas where such concerns were non-existent or could be made non-existent by paying off the right individuals. Naturally, the products and applications of their research was usually fair game to be used and sold worldwide. They were only one of the companies involved in campaigning the teleportation technology that was about to take off on a grand scale before the solar flare changed everything. Of course, there were public worries regarding the untested long-term consequences of utilizing black holes in such technology. It was outlawed in certain countries due to these concerns, but lobbies in the private sector drove many of them to accept the tech in light of the boundless advantage is offered. They were also a big in medical, security, and weaponry fields. Their vast knowledge and close cooperation of their individual departments enabled them to make many breakthroughs. It seems like they could do anything they set out to do. The nanomachines that became commonplace before the fall were, of course, also their product. No one was surprised that the tech failed under the radiation of the ion storm had the company behind it been more concerned about safety rather than profits. Perhaps fewer lives would have been lost. Even though they weren't perfect, nanomachines still had increased the quality of life for many people. It was a new way of treating medical conditions, some of which had been previously untreatable. They were also widely used for their performance-enhancing properties for both day-to-day activities and to assist with dangerous jobs. Beyond that, the company had even branched into genetic engineering. Human hereditary diseases were becoming a thing of the past as they developed techniques to alter human life to its core. Ultimately, they had a hand in influencing every area of life on a global scale. It was unknown who has truly calling the shots, as their network and companies and names were vast. It was only one of their many ways to ensure their continued existence and avoid liability. Where they had been outlawed on their operations shut down, new companies with suspiciously similar products practically appeared overnight. However, no matter how big their empire was and how well they skirted the lines, they ultimately collapsed just like the rest of the world. That being said, how did this building make its way into the dragon's world? I guess read the structural damage report of the underground building. According to the report, the investigation of the building was halted due to the acute danger of its collapse and the damage that the surrounding water would cause. Since the building had unknown historical and technological value, there was a plan in place to drain the water pockets. The legal permissions had not yet gone through, however, and it would take some time for the equipment to arrive. For now, the building was stable as long as it remained undisturbed, but for obvious reasons, no one was allowed to enter. There were patrols guarding it day and night. Look at the time. I better wrap it up here. Phew, it's getting late. I better head to the police station now. Why did I leave? I was already there. Do I have everything? Alright, let's see what Sebastian will say to this. There you are, Agent Blue. It seems to me you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair. Maybe I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce, though. By the way, good job calling the police when you heard Riza. It's too bad that he got away again, but maybe a witness will come forward and we'll find out what happened. Now let's take a look at what you've got for me. The witness report from Anna is good. Nothing new to us, but it's nice to have her statement in writing. What you've learned about the map is fascinating, if not a little unsettling. While it's good to have confirmed its origin, to know that it came from your world is something else. It raises more questions than it answers. How could something like a whole building end up in our world? It's a mystery that needs to be answered. You did it great today, Agent Blue. The police department is glad to have you on our side. Investigator 3, achievement unlocked. I do what I can. I know, and your help is greatly appreciated. Believe me, especially since we're so short on staff right now. That will be all for today. I'll contact you if we need anything. Of course. See you next time. See you. To be honest, I'm probably gonna get the bad ending first. Actually, I have no idea how to get any other endings. Any other good endings. Finally, a free day. What should I do? Oh no. Oh no. He's not happy with me for some reason. I guess I'll meet with Anna. There you are. I was wondering if you'd even show up. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to meet you. A gluten for punishment, huh? Not that I mind. Follow me, please. Time to be experimented on. So, what exactly is this room? It's our testing room for research on live subjects. And what exactly do you test here? You'll see that soon enough. I intend to use this facility to its fullest potential. I see. Let's start with this one. What's that? I can get a good look at your bone structure, muscle groups, and organs with this. For the finer details, we need a different machine. Would you please lie down here? Of course. Before we start, can I ask your qualifications? You can trust me. I'm a doctor. What kind of doctor? Well, Doctor of Pharmacy is the only title I currently hold, but I know how to operate this machinery. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence. You think I'd let an opportunity like this go to waste by not doing my research? I'll have you know that I'm very qualified to perform these tests. If you say so. Now please, try not to move too much while this is running. And how long will that be? Good question. I'll suppose we'll see you soon enough. And what do we do now? Just wait until it's over? What do you want me to do for you? Dance for you so you don't get bored? I wouldn't mind that.
Don't worry, I'm a doctor.
I wouldn't mind that. Oh yes, taking a screenshot of that, definitely. I'm sure you wouldn't, but I'm afraid I don't provide those kinds of services. Oh, thanks for following that, Fox. Hope you're enjoying so far. You know, when I heard that something happened at the facility, I thought it might have been you. It's quite something, isn't it? You know, if I stayed as late as I used to, it might have been me instead of Damien. And it's only because you told me not to stay late so often that I wasn't there that night. Still, somebody died. I'm not crying over that bastard. Alright, you can move again. See you soon. Hope you have fun. Does that mean I'm done? That's a good one. You're just getting started. What about the results? Don't hold your breath. It will be processing for some time, and the resulting data will be so vast that I'll probably end up studying it for days. Let's collect some samples now. Where should I start? Wherever you like. Show me your claws. That would be fingernails in your case. In my case. I suppose you're right. I wouldn't be insulting to call those thin little things of yours claws. They'd probably break off before you can make use of them in any practical way. Just one more way, nature gave us the short end of the stick. So, which part would be fine for me to cut off? Take a piece from the white part. The rest you see is attached to the finger. Hold still then. Don't cut too much. Don't worry, I only need enough to put it under a microscope. There. Was that so bad? Do you want me to put a bandage on your little boo-boo? Now it'll go right under the microscope. She got up and sat down at a table. Intently, Anna stared at a device while messing around with nail clipping. I can snap. Let's see. Putting your fingernail under a microscope is something we used to do in middle school. Quiet, please. There's a scientist at work here. Okay. ... This structure looks like a lot like keratin. Because it is. Well, that's not much of a surprise, really. Be quiet. Keratin is the substance that forms the claws on us dragons and most of the animals here, at least as far as mammals, reptiles, and birds are concerned. So why would you retain the structure but not do anything useful with it is beyond me. It gets better. They grow continuously, so they need to be cut regularly. What happens if you don't cut them? They just keep growing. How much can they keep growing? Pretty much indefinitely. Do they get thicker at least, or what else happens when they grow? They just get longer. What a hassle. So, how long are you planning on keeping me here? Getting impatient already? I'm just saying, our date did not take all that long, and you mentioned you already have days worth of data from that machine. Well, we never specified any terms, and I sat out our quote-unquote date until it was officially over. This will certainly go by much quicker if you show a little patience. Says the Queen of Complaining. I don't complain. I just point out errors. Besides, I'd be impressed. And be impressed. But not a queen. By the way, how do you feel about needles? I don't mind them. Glad to hear that. You'll need to remove some layers for that next part. Oh, whoa. What are you going to do? These are just some electrodes. And I'll also measure your brain activity with one of those helmets. Alright. There you go. ... What is it now? This is kind of embarrassing, I guess. Why? Well, we usually don't take off this much in front of others. Not even for doctors? Oh, we do, but that doesn't make it any less embarrassing. I don't understand. I mean, I get why you would want to put on if it's cold, considering your lack of fur. But to have this compulsion to always have some layers on is a bit strange. It's just a social norm where I come from. As you can probably tell, we don't have a problem showing what we were born with. God damn it. I love it. She's nearly as bad when it comes to this stuff as Bryce. This will also take a while. I want to have a good reference and see how your rates change. Your head shape is a little different from ours, but I think this one should do the trick. Perfect, just as if it was made for you. I'm not so sure of that. By the way, how can you even be sure that your machinery will have no adverse effects on me? I suppose I can't. That is mildly unsettling. Your physiology is similar enough to ours that there shouldn't be any real problems. I see. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is that? A polygraph test? No, this is something completely different. I'm also measuring your brain activity here. Besides, I don't really care about the truthfulness of your answers. Rather, this is to establish your natural heights and lows of the values I'm measuring. Go ahead then. Let's start with the easy ones. Just say no to the following 3 questions if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it is true or not. Understood? Does this question count already? The questions start now. Are you human? No. I see. Is your favorite color purple?
Damn it, how did they know?
No. Interesting. Have you been convicted of any crime? No. No. I see. Now, we'll get to the real part. You can answer the following questions however you like. Got it. Did it make you uneasy when you had to answer all the test questions negatively? I see. Interesting. Should I just continue with no? Have you taken a liking to anyone here since you arrived? Yes. I got her to blush. Yes. I see. Do you have any ulterior motives when you came to our world? Or is it as simple as we have or led to believe? No comment. I see. That's all for this test. You can take off the helmet and I'll take care of the electrodes. That kind of seemed like an interrogation. I wanted to keep it simple but ask questions that could get a reaction. I see. It's kind of a shame because in the end, a lack of additional subjects for this test means those results might not be very useful to us. We'd probably need a few more humans. Then why do them in the first place? The data is still useful, just not as useful as it could be. And besides, I did tell you I'd make the most of this room. Well, what's next? I'm not sure yet. Do I want to get close enough to examine... I know the last word there is orifices. There's only one person in this room who can answer that question. I guess so. We quarantined Riza when he initially arrived here, but skipped the procedure with you. After examining Riza, we didn't think humans by themselves posed any danger. Nevertheless, who knows what kind of illness or bacteria you might be housing as an alternate host. I'm not taking that risk without a full protective suit. Does that mean your procedures are going to get a lot more invasive? No, I'm not in the mood to put the suit on and sterilize the whole room. To be fair, I haven't heard of anyone I've been in contact with getting any strange diseases thus far. Sure, but then I'd have to ask you if any of those actually got close enough to you. As in, intimately close. No orifice examinations then? For the next part, we'll actually have to go outside. That sounds like fun. Depends. Here, strap this to your arm. What's this? A handheld monitor. I want to measure how you perform during exercise. Oh no, not exercise. Yeah, outside. That's a good little human. I love it. Let's go then, shall we? Sure thing. And now, take one lap around the block. I'll be waiting for you here. You can go as fast or as slow as you want, but try not to stop until you are back here. I'll be monitoring you, so I'll know if you try to do anything fishy. No need to point out the obvious. You know what? Let's see, which one makes her blush? Not that one. I love this one. I'm going with this one. Of course not. The honest and good Agent Blue would never do such a thing. There's no need to make fun of me for it. You're such a bleeding heart, Agent Blue. Anyway, you can start whenever the monitor should take care of the rest. Running. Trying for a constant speed, I started with a light jog soon. I was outside the gate and around the corner when I met an unexpected surprise. Hey, look, it's Remy. Hey, Agent Blue. Hey, Remy, long time no see. Indeed, just enjoying the fresh air I see. Yeah. You know, if you ever want to come by and visit the library or need to know anything, feel free to ask me. I will, thanks. My pleasure. Afterwards, I finished my lap around the block, arriving only a few minutes after I had started. I suppose it was too much to ask for a lap without any breaks. Maybe I shouldn't have expected you to be as fit as we are. I got distracted on the way. How so? Did you have to stop and smell some flowers? Well, apparently Remy's not happy with me. Not Remy. Rem isn't happy with me right now. I met Remy. Remy? Oh, I wouldn't mind if that bastard kicked the bucket too. I know, I don't know what Anna did to him. And it makes me sad. How can you say that? That's how I feel. Would you prefer me to lie to your face? Anyways, I've got your data so we can head back inside if you're not too exhausted to walk. Of course. Look at your data. It's kind of hard to evaluate it without any reference points. How much exercise do you usually get? None at all, obviously. Oh no. What did I do to him? I'll figure out eventually, I guess. A little. I see. You sure get to ask me a lot of questions here. All just part of the test. Though, I think those were all the tests I needed to run on you for today. Does that mean we're done here? Oh, some of the data from the scanning machine has been processed. We can look at some pretty pictures of you. I'd rather be looking at some pretty pictures of you instead. Damn it. Now, where's the response with what you expect? I'm drunk. Where's that option? Is that the best you can come up with, seriously? I guess I didn't. I'm mad at myself now. Oh right, I totally forgot that you are a mammal. To encounter an intelligent mammal of all things, well, reasonably intelligent at the very least. Why is that so surprising? You already have your myths about humans. Myths are myths. Having you here in the flesh is an entirely different thing. It's not like I could use our myths to get a scan like this one. It just seems so funny to me. Do you nurse your young from your teats as well? We do. Let me study your muscle grooves for a bit. Do you want me to take my clothes off again? I meant the pictures. Oh, I see. I wouldn't mind taking off all my clothes in front of her again, to be honest. You can stay for a bit longer in case I have any questions. Okay. While I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to her table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups. As we talked, her eyes never left the screen. Some of these structures are very similar to those found in Damien's kind. I'm not surprised. His stature is similar enough. True. Now shut up and let me concentrate. Does that approach ever work? What are you talking about? You being that rude to everyone? ... We're done here. Get out. You can't take what you dish out, huh? Suddenly she got up, a look of rage crossed her face. I want to die. I said get the heck out of here. She grabbed my arm and roughly walked me to the door. After shoving me outside, she quickly closed the door behind me. I think I fucked up. Okay. I probably fucked up, to be honest. Looks like I have some free time today. I could always just use the scroll wheel to go back and change my answers and stuff. Well, I guess I could always check. Ah, damn it. Damn it, I fucked up. Damn it. Well, I guess I'm not getting really any good ending this time. I mean, I could sleep. Whatever. In the end, I decided to spend the day relaxing in my apartment. I didn't know when things would start to pick up again, so I figured it would be better to get some rest as long as I could. And we should be on chapter 4. That was a lot of cards. I wish they sold these cards. That'd be amazing. Oh no, gunshots. I mean, even if I don't get it like a good ending or anything, there's probably an ending for having a bad situation, for having a bad status with everyone. Probably. They probably are dead, to be honest. Oh no. Oh no. He's dead. The rim's dead. I awoke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. How many more times would I see this apartment before I returned to my own world, or before something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. It seems I'm really good at making everybody mad in this playthrough, in this run. Hey, Agent Blue. And right on the minute, you know, you show up at this time every day like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliability is good in this line of work. I think you can guess why I'm here. Is it Riza again? What happened this time? The chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep him waiting, shall we? I mean, I could skip ahead, but I doubt Doink would like that. We arrived at the place that would look like an ordinary house. I don't know why I wanted to say normal house. Had it not been for its extraordinary size, it reminded me more of a hostel than a family home. Chief? There you are. Thanks for following, Grant. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. I mean, that's what you get when I'm using Streamlabs. Wait, weren't you supposed to be with Amira? Luckily, she doesn't work every day of the week. I see. Anyway, we're nearly done here, so I'll keep it short. Riza broke into the hatchery. There's another murder victim, an employee of the hatchery who was on night duty. Her body was found quite a way from here. There's evidence of a struggle, but she covered a lot of distance before it was ultimately over. Loud bangs were heard from the same area her body was found, and she has numerous wounds consistent with the wounds of the previous victims and that other weapon he has. By this point, news of another corpse didn't have the same impact anymore. She was just another one of Riza's faceless victims. A hatchery? Is that what this building is? Well, not only it's a council-owned building, but they like to keeping everything related to their sector under the same roof. So besides the hatchery, there's also an orphanage and a family clinic inside. There are also offices related to the administration of those services. That reminds me of the production facility. It should. They have a similar management structure. Can we get back to the case? Sorry for the interruption, Chief. Wait a minute, if an orphanage is in there too. There are no other casualties, but Riza got something else when he broke in. A generator as well as a few eggs. Luckily, the power was restored before anything could happen to the other eggs left inside, but needless to say, the parents of the stolen eggs are not going to be happy. Why would he steal eggs in the first place? Maybe you could tell us, that's why you're here after all. I don't know, I have no idea what he would even do with them. Maybe he wants to use them as a bargaining chip. After all, he still has to make his escape and the portal is still broken. Do you think he wants to exchange them for safe passage through the portal? Maybe. It's still broken though, so I'm not sure if that would be much help. Maybe he has the parts he needs to repair it, and now he has everything he needs to escape. He could trade the eggs for safe passage, fix the portal, and leave. That's not the only possibility. He may not be the one who broke the portal. Maybe he thinks you've intentionally sabotaged it so he can't leave, and he feels he needs the eggs as bargaining chips to get you to repair it. If he just wanted to leave, I feel like he could have done that already. It doesn't even matter who sabotaged the portal. We only know that Riza's actions are becoming more and more desperate. He kidnapped defenseless eggs and even used the human weapon. Something's clearly going on with him. Maybe it means that he'll slip up soon. Who knows? Maybe he's already has. In any case, you're done. We're done here. Let's head back to the department and decide what to do next. Hopefully some of the test results will tell us something. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. Initial test results have already come in, but didn't reveal any insightful or new information. So what do we do now? Go over the timeline again? Not yet. There are a few things I'd like to take care of first. What do you have in mind? Suddenly there was a knock at the door. And here's Maverick. Come in. Maverick, what are you doing here? Chief, can I talk to you alone? We're quite busy here, Maverick. What is this about? Riza. Well, you're looking at the Riza task force, so if you have anything to say, you could say it in front of all of us. I see. I think I know where Riza is. You know where Riza is at this very moment? I have good reason to believe that I have located his hideout. He could still be there, or he might have already moved on. Damn, Maverick, tell me everything. I've been tracking him for a while now. When he was at the portal a few days ago, I nearly got him and managed to follow him for a while before I lost him. Based on that, where he's been and where his victims have been found, I could triangulate his whereabouts. He has to live somewhere, right? He needs a base to hide the generators and everything he has stolen. Bryce cleared the clutter on the table, smoothed out a map of the town on its surface. It already had a few locations related to the case marked on it. Show it to me. Prior victims were found here and here. Today's was here. She was following him, likely because she wanted to save the eggs he stole. This is the path he took from the portal when I followed him a few days ago. Okay, Doink. I'm probably gonna end it after this chapter, so don't really know for sure, but my throat's really starting to hurt from this. Prior victims were found here and here. Okay, I've already read that. So we have established this as his area of operation. Extrapolate it and we can narrow it down to this. Now, where could he be hiding in this area? He's certainly not within the village borders, so unless he's decided to live in the wilderness or in a hole in the ground, the only option is here. The abandoned farm. When did you figure this all out? Just a few moments ago. When I did, I immediately came here. Damn it, Maverick, this might be it. Should we send an observation team? As if we'd have one to spare. Heck, we're going there right now. What about you, Maverick? I'm still on sick leave, remember? Besides, if I saw Riza right now, I'd probably do something I shouldn't. How about you, Agent Blue? Isn't this going to be dangerous? Riza probably won't harm you, as you're the only one who could possibly consider an ally. Good point. If anything, with you there, we might be able to convince him to give up, or we could act like we intended to trade for the eggs if he tries to use them as a bargaining chip. You're not really going to use me as ransom, right? Well, we'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I'll have to play along. I've got your back. If there's one thing we can do to make this whole situation even worse, it would be messing up with you. We have the elements of surprise if we walk into his base right now, but we risk Riza lashing out with his weapon. If we want to resolve this peacefully, observation is probably the way to go. I guess we won't need Agent Blue there for that, though. True enough. Alright, Agent Blue, you stay here and wait for further instructions. We may need you at a moment's notice. Don't do anything without us telling you to understand? Okay. Alright, let's go, Sebastian. After you, Chief. And Maverick, good job. Thanks, Chief. Okay, I've got to stop. I'll probably stream this again soon. I don't know when that may be. It may be during the next weekend. But it was fun having all of you arrive and all that. So, I'm gonna end it here. It was fun. Thanks for everybody that showed up and followed. If you enjoyed and you haven't followed yet, please follow. I will see you all next time.